Welcome back, treasure hunters. So today I'm going to go over some of last week's thrift store finds as well as my auction purchases, one of which you're not going to want to miss. So let's get into my thrift store finds last week first. And the first thing I'm going to show you here is this art glass. I think it's a daisy flower here. I'm not sure if it came on this base here or if whoever owned it before just glued it on this base. Not exactly sure. So I just left it on there, but it's not entirely too tall, but it does look pretty fragile. It's very nicely done. And the reason why I got it is because it is signed R. Hughes 08. Right here on the bottom, it's obviously really hard to see. That stands for, I think his name was Robbie Hughes. I did find a bunch of art glass by him, but I really didn't find anything for sale for a price comparison, like outside of his website. All of the stuff on his website had contact for pricing. So I don't know if he makes it after something is ordered or, how exactly that works. I didn't find anything at auction recently that was done by him, except I did find on some other design type home decor website some larger pieces of art glass that were selling for a lot of money. But seeing that this is more of a simple small piece, I'm not exactly sure how much I could sell this for, but I got it for $3.29 at Goodwill. So even if I got, $50 for it, that'd be good with me. The next piece here I found is another piece of art glass, and this is a disc-shaped paperweight. And what stood out to me right when I saw it is you can see how symmetrical this piece is, especially with like the design on the inside, and it's very smooth. You don't see those like ripples or anything. And then especially too at the bottom, it's nicely beveled around the edge, and it is signed and numbered and also dated. So it's done in 94, and it's by Narat Bentley and 132 out of 150. So all that information is etched in the bottom. It does have a flat side here, so I guess you could put it this way or stand it up like this. But this just jumped out at me right away as, a quality piece of art glass. And then when I saw the signature, the price tag was over it, but I didn't even bother trying to look at it because it was only $2.19. So I did find some smaller pieces for sale that were around $50 to $75. So I probably priced this right around $85 to $100. So it's pretty heavy, nice size, and it's in perfect condition. I don't see any big scratches or any chips or anything. So the next piece I found, I also got along with that paperweight at Goodwill, and this was also only $2.19. And this is an antique cast brass or possibly cast iron painted this color. I'm not exactly sure, but it is an antique picture frame. I didn't find anything that looked exactly like this, but I found some. This is pretty ornate with a cherub at the top, and I don't know, maybe the devil at the bottom. I don't really know. Kind of looks more sinister, but it is a lot more detailed than the one I found online. One giveaway too is, I forget what this is called. I just found out, but the way this stands up here at the bottom kind of flips out just to rest on the table, or it can fold in, and I guess you could hang it somehow on the wall. But another giveaway that this is older is these flathead screws that are holding in these little tabs, which would hold in the picture. It doesn't have any glass, obviously. I think this might be either late 1800s, early 1900s. I think it might be French, but I'm not exactly sure. But it's a really cool, heavy picture frame. And the one that I did see online was selling for $160. So I'm not exactly sure what I'd price this at yet, but probably somewhere just over $100. So the next piece here I found is an antique piece of Nippon, and it's right here is the marking, and it's hand painted. It's in really nice shape. This is an older piece, just looking at the marking here at the bottom, that how it's got the little mark, the little leaf mark, and then hand painted next to it, and it doesn't say Japan on it. So that tells me that this is an older piece. This is actually some kind of jar. It was missing the lid. I almost passed this up because there were some fake flowers in it with that styrofoam type stuff that people put in there to stick the fake flowers in. I almost walked right by it, but I saw it on my way out and decided to grab it. So it's a nice little piece. I got it for, I think it was like $3.99 at a Salvation Army. And these are pretty collectible. I have sold quite a few pieces of this type of porcelain. I'll probably just price this around 50 or 60 bucks. And just because it is missing the lid, but it could still serve pretty well as a vase. My last thrift store find that I'm going to show you is this piece of, it's kind of a free-form piece of studio pottery, the really nice glaze. And this is actually coil pottery. You can see how, and sometimes this coil pottery is a lot more noticeable that they're coils, but you can see how these lines, so that's like stacking the coils on top of each other to form whatever, a vase or a vessel, or whatever they're making. This is definitely abstract. You can see the top is pushed in. There are some little holes all around. But what's nice is when it sits, it actually just, even with the abstract shape, it's not like tipping over. It sits up really nicely. There is a very faint marking on the bottom. I have not been able to ID this. It just looked more professionally done than a lot of coil pottery that I see at the thrift stores. A lot of times people start out that way when they're, making vases or any kind of pottery. I've seen a whole bunch of coil pottery that is, very student type amateur pottery, but I don't know. This one, just given the glaze on it and the overall construction, it just looked more like a mid-century freeform abstract piece. So I'm going to post this to my pottery identification group on Facebook and see if anybody can give me any information on who the artist might be. And hopefully I can try and uncover, a marking or something on the bottom. I don't know. It's really hard to see. It just looks blank, but it did have somebody glued these felt pieces. I tried to get them off, but I'm going to have to soak them with nail polish remover or something to see if there might be some more information under those. So my first auction purchase I'm going to show you today, I got at an online auction. They're always auctioning off all sorts of art and stuff. This piece is an etching by Edwin Forbes, and I believe it was dated, 1876. Edwin Forbes was well known for doing etchings of the Civil War. And this is obviously one of those with some soldiers here and obviously a long line of soldiers and cavalry and stuff marching in. And it does say plate 21. So it is the piece itself is in pretty good condition. There are some of those discoloration spots that you'll see with, antique pieces like this. And that can come from the fact that there is no matting on this. So when the piece of art needs air, that's why, a lot of times, especially more modern pieces, always will have matting. It kind of provides the piece itself to breathe. But this is right up against the glass. And according, I got that information from Dr. Lori. So if you haven't checked her stuff out, I would definitely give her a watch. She's extremely knowledgeable in all sorts of antiques and does a really good job at explaining different tips and tricks and things to look at. So I'm not going to reframe this or anything. I'll leave that to whoever wants to buy it, but that's why I think these little marks show up just because the piece itself can't breathe. There's a piece on the back about Edwin Forbes. So it just kind of talks about how he first gained fame during the American Civil War for his dramatic sketches of these military subjects and battles. So it's a cool piece. I got this for, I think I won it for $82, and his pieces were selling, I guess it, depending on what it's depicting, but his pieces were selling anywhere from $200 to $500 online on other more well-known auction sites. So I'll probably price this somewhere in the middle of that. So the next auction buy, actually, there was a pair of these paintings, and they're not done by the same artist, but I got them just because I won them for $8. And this looks more like, I don't see a signature or anything on it, so it's probably just an unknown artist. It's a real small piece in an antique frame, and it is on board, and it's just some different stoneware pieces. I don't really know if this is worth anything or not, because I have no idea who the artist is, and it's kind of small and whatever, but it was just kind of thrown in with the other piece that I got. The other piece here is this oil painting, mid-century oil painting on canvas of this lighthouse scene, and it is signed K. Urso down here in the corner, and I've found a couple pieces done by K. Urso that were, selling in the couple $100 range. This is a little smaller, but for only $8, I definitely wanted to grab it. I could probably list it to start around $125 and work my way down, but I didn't want to let it go just, for $8. So I just grabbed it. And this is the last piece I'm going to show you that I got at auction. And this was a really awesome buy. It was not identified on the auction site. They did show a picture of the signature, but they did not ID the artist. This is a bronze sculpture, and it is solid bronze. It's very heavy. And the cool thing about this, and this is signed Smith, and it is numbered. And I'm almost positive this is Dennis Smith. There was another Bruce Smith, but just looking at their different pieces of work, I saw, some similar like mother-daughter scenes or people done in this kind of raw fashion by Dennis Smith. His reproduction work, his cast work sells in the, $400 to $600 range. His actual, limited handmade pieces like this, I saw were listed in the thousands. And this piece, you can even see his fingerprints in the bronze, just from molding this in different spots. But it is in great condition. There are no issues. And it's numbered 4 out of 30 and signed Smith right down here at the base. And it is just on a wooden base here and has felt on the bottom or whatever. But this was an awesome find, and I got this just for $60, and it came from California, so I think it cost me $30 or $40 to ship. But either way, this was a fantastic buy and a really cool piece of art. So I'm planning on submitting a whole bunch of stuff to Dr. Lori to get it appraised or looked at to see what some pieces that I've had sitting around that I think are valuable that I have not been able to identify, that I'm not comfortable with selling yet, just because I don't want to give something away that might have a lot of value. So I'm going to have her look at this piece too, just to confirm that it is Dennis Smith and is worth as much as I think it is. So really cool mother-daughter sculpture. So that's all I got for you guys today. As always, thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time watching, please hit that subscribe button for me and click that notification bell. It not only gives you notice when I'm posting new videos, but also helps me out in rankings and Google, or not Google, but YouTube's algorithm and all that good stuff. So I appreciate all of you. I am going to be coming out with a video shortly on the sales that I've had over the past couple months, so keep an eye out for that. I will review where I found each item, how much I paid, and of course, how much profit I made. So once again, thank you for watching. I'll be back soon. And if you're out there at the thrift stores, I wish you the best of luck.